Mother's Voice by Marilyn Toulis. A poem. In my heart are messages which often I replay, treasured guidance wisely stored to guide me on life's way. Wait. I said it wrong. Wait, no, I didn't. Words which parted wrong from right stay with me from my youth. Words which taught a preference for kindness and for truth. Counsel and encouragement for purpose that's fulfilled. Soft echoes of phrases meant to undergird and build. In my heart are messages which urge for godly choice. Within the caring lines inside, I hear my mother's voice. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Sorry I didn't do better.
You may have heard this before, but it's still fun to revisit. It's called Remembering Mom's Clothesline. Now, there are a couple of us in here that are old enough to remember Mom's Clothesline, but not everybody will. So I'll preface it by saying if you don't even know what clotheslines are, you can close your ears. Anyway, there's 12 do's and don'ts here. Okay, number 1, you had to hang the socks by the toes, never by the tops. You hung pants by the bottom cuffs, not the waistbands. You had to wash the clothesline before hanging any clothes. You walk along the entire length of the line with a damp cloth on it. Now, all these have purposes. Okay, I'll get to those. You had to hang the clothes in a certain order and always hang whites with whites and hang them first. You never hung a shirt by the shoulders, always by the tail. What would the neighbors think? Wash day was on Monday. Never hang clothes on the weekend or on Sunday. Hang the sheets and towels on the outside lines so you could hide the unmentionables on the inside. Perverts and busybodies, you know. It didn't matter if it was sub-zero weather. Clothes would freeze dry. Always gather the clothespins when taking down the dry clothes, because pins left on the lines appeared to be tacky. There again, what would the neighbors think? If you were efficient, you would line the clothes up so that each item did not need 2 clothespins, but shared one of the clothespins with another washed item. Clothes had to be off the lines before dinner time. Neatly folded clothes in baskets and ready to be ironed. Ironed. Well, there's another subject. That's all.
Well, I have a poem here that I wrote. I've written all the way to about 3 poems in my entire life. And I wrote this last year after communion, love feast. And it's kind of at a husband's perspective of Mother's Day. I slipped a ring on your finger over 50 years ago, not knowing what this hand would hold and know. Those hands held me tight when feared about our future we would see. When our kids were born, you raised them to see what they could be. The years have passed through sickness and health. There were times of financial woes and not much wealth. But those hands held our family together. We are now entering an age of stormy weather. As I held those hands tonight, they seemed smaller than I remember. As long as we walk together, we will march right into our December. Christ has laid those hands in my heart. Until death separates us, we will never part.
First, happy Mother's Day to all the ladies in the church today. Now I'd like for you all to close your eyes. Think back to your earliest memories of your mother, when she held you in your arms, caressed you, cared for you, loved you. As you got older, she guided us. When we had a hurt, a knee scuffed, whatever, who did we run to? Mom. Who guided us and told us how not to do that again? Did we listen? No, we ended up doing it again. As we grew older, she was always there, no matter what, to confide in, to give us guidance. Mothers always had that little intuition about what we were doing. My mother was a bird lover. The birds loved her. They talked to her all the time. And always, whenever I did something, it was always a little birdie that ran home or flew home and told my mother what I had done, good or bad. And it was amazing how she would console me when I was hurting. My grandmother was also like that. I remember one time I had a loose tooth, and on Sunday when we went to her house for dinner, my grandfather was always the one to pull teeth for all of his children. So my mother said, "Dad, Raymond's got a loose tooth." So Grandpa takes me to the porch and we get a thread. He ties it around my tooth and he gives it a tug. It doesn't come out. It hurt. So he gave up. So I went in the house and I sat on my grandma's lap because I was crying because it hurt. And my grandma said, "Let me see." And she reached up there and touched my tooth, and it fell out in her hand. She had never pulled a tooth for any of her children, but mine came right out in her hand without any pain. Those fond memories of mothers are what we all worship today. You may open your eyes. How grateful I would be to have just one more day. If I could have just one more day and wishes did come true, I'd spend every glorious moment side by side with you, recalling all the years we shared and memories we made. How grateful I would be to have just one more day, where the tears I've shed are not in vain and only fall in bliss. So many things I'd let you know about the days you missed. I wouldn't have to make pretend you never went away. How grateful I would be to have just one more day. When that day came to a close and the sun began to set, 1,000,000 times I'd let you know I will never forget the heart of gold you left behind when you entered heaven's gate. How grateful I would be to have just one more day.
Thank you, Dillon and Bruce and John and Ray.